Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable Presiding Member, I must at the very outset say that this issue relating to the university's non-academic staff and their demands, as the current State Minister of Higher Education told a while ago, began way back in 2016. And I too, as a minister for a short while, holding the portfolio of higher education around 2018-19, attempted to resolve the problem by submitting 3 cabinet papers. And it is a matter of regret that this issue remains unresolved up to date, and I am sure this should now be resolved by discussion with these unions. I am told about 18 trade unions are involved in this. Particularly, I must also say that they must be mindful that whatever that the academic staff is getting for their research purposes and various other issues cannot apply to them, but then they must be also be reasonable in negotiating this increase. As the former minister has already, or rather current minister has already told, that the issue pertains to be the amount finally the Treasury will have to allocate in case the increment is allowed. So also there is an issue of further anomalies happening in other sectors. Therefore, all that had to be taken into consideration, and these issues must be resolved without any further delay, as the entire university system has come into a serious paralysis situation. So, having mentioned that, may I move on to another matter which was adverted to by the opposition leader in the morning in his speech. He very carefully analyzed one of the serious lapses in our educational system, particularly relating to the English medium instruction classes and the need to establish a separate English stream in our government schools. So, as a student coming from the rural areas, who had also had the opportunity of having got the admission to a popular school in Colombo, Royal College Colombo, through the government scholarship scheme, I am one who will always attest about the gap and the seriousness of this gap between the rural schools and the city schools and the prominent schools in the country. Therefore, it is important that we must pay our attention to this area. In this regard, I would like to table here a letter from a particular charity based in Australia, who have been doing wonderful work in Sri Lanka. From 2004 onwards, I had a chance meeting with the chairman of this charity, Miss Donna Vaughan, and I was impressed by the wonderful work they have been doing, and I have tried to assist them by taking them to meet the Secretary of Education, the former Secretary, Ms. Vasantha Pereira, and also I also introduced them to the Governor of the Eastern Province to see that this is incorporated into the official program of the Ministry of Education in all our government schools. Because they are running a very worthwhile program through which they, in the last year alone, they have enrolled more than 1,000 English teachers to train them in this novel program called Lotus English Literacy Program, which essentially was to develop essential literacy skills in children as they learn English, to enhance their competency development in line with the government curriculum and syllabuses. So this is a very, very important program. This is being run now with the assistance of the Jaffna University, Eastern University and the Southeastern University. So this must be adopted officially through a memorandum of understanding to be signed with the Ministry of Education. I earnestly asked the Minister to instruct the current Secretary, because this was discussed with the earlier Secretary, Ms. Vasantha Pereira, and she had responded to this NGO, promising them that they will discuss this with the National Institute of Education and incorporate it possibly into our policy framework as well, so that this program could be properly implemented all over the island. So I would like to commend this NGO called Partners in Micro Development, an Australian-based entity which has been working wonderfully in our country for several years and have trained several teachers and have implemented it as model programs in several schools. So there are thousands of people. I am told by next week this team is arriving here in Sri Lanka, and they are due to train even teachers from the Central Province now. It was at my request that they have moved to Central Province. And there is a difficulty, because I was able to connect them with the governor in the Eastern Province, Mr. Senthil Tondaman, and he was good enough to instruct the Provincial Director of Education and for them to incorporate it in an official manner. But unfortunately, the Central Province Provincial Education authorities still have not got involved properly with this program. Therefore, I am requesting the Honourable Minister to see that the letter which I am tabling, which had been handed
Honourable Member, your time is over.
Pereira, the former Secretary, I am tabling it. I would like the Minister to go through this letter, instruct the current Secretary. Unfortunately, the Secretaries to Ministries are changing like musical chairs. So every Secretary coming to the Ministry of Education doesn't last beyond a year. Therefore, I would prefer the Minister takes it upon himself to instruct the current Secretary to have a discussion with the National Institute of Education and incorporate it in our policy framework and enable that this program is implemented for the benefit of all our children studying in our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. මීළඟට ගරු ඩලා සලාප්පෙරම මන්ත්‍රීතුමා ඔබතුමාට විනාඩි 10ක කාලයක් තියෙනවා.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි උලසනේ ගරු මන්ත්‍රීතුමනි. අතවශ්‍යම විනාඩි 6ක කාලයක් තිබුණේ. මම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා සභානායකතුමා විදිහට අධ්‍යාපන ඇමතුමාට. එතුමා ඒ පාර්ශවයෙන් වෙලාව වෙන් කරලා තමයි මේ අවස්ථාව අපි කීප දෙනෙක්ට ලබා දීලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ විවාදයේ ඇතුලේ ගරු සභාපතිතුමනි විනාඩි 10